Good afternoon, traders. It's Mark here from the day trading room. Time is 10 past 5 London time on Tuesday, the 18th of January 2011. I want to run through my trades for today. I actually did an earlier recording just after I'd taken the morning's trades, I'll patch that onto this recording in a second. So that runs through basically all the trades for the morning. Um, that was it really. Very disappointed I missed this on oil. Lovely pullback, cycle lower to the VWAP and a support level. That was a gift. So that's the disappointing miss for the day. But some other great trades in the morning. Yep, I'll patch that onto the recording now. And good trading, and back with another video next week. Hello traders, so it's 20 past 3 on Tuesday the 18th of January, and a very quick update here. I wanted to record what I've been up to this morning so I don't forget the premise and what I have done and what I haven't done. Okay, let's start off with the Dow. Dow opened up strong, pushed heavily. Apple news today. That's really got to be watching that to see how that's faring. More on that in a moment. But Dow, I would normally take the first pullback after this opening drive. Good solid opening drive. Pulled back. I'm probably looking for an entry about here. I didn't take it this time. Disappointing really, because it did, even though it gave a little bit of grief. It then pushed on, but I didn't take it only because the ticks weren't as positive as I'd like. We were over the 11,800 on the cash. So I just didn't know whether some sellers were, the 11,700, sorry, excuse me, 11,800 is around, this sort of level. So I just wondered perhaps whether it was viable, and I didn't take it. So disappointed with that. And obviously that this 770 here, 11,770 on the YM was the overnight high. So yeah, the premise was looking for a push through there, but I didn't like these ticks. Didn't like the fact that these ticks then went to new lows on this pullback, and so just stayed out of it completely. Did trade Apple though, as I said, trading stocks that are active. Just being careful with my size on this. Very small size, not looking to get too heavily involved. Premise was obviously Steve Jobs news. It was marked down about 5% pre-market. The premise was either going to be they're going to buy this heavily or they're going to absolutely slam it. So that's the sort of premise we're looking for. What we definitely want to see is a good move. And now normally if we had a push lower, I'm looking to sell a pullback, but the reason I didn't do that is because I just had a feeling that if they the way that it was opening, the way that it was trading pre-market was range bound. If you can see this chart here, it was range bound, clear range to 334 to 329 or 330 level. It didn't indicate a downtrend, so there's not a systematic dumping. If there was people looking to dump stock, then they would be feathering it in slowly into the market, and you'd see that downtrend pre-market, even though liquidity is low. Excuse me, the volume's low, you'd see that sort of push lower, and you'd see it probably opening to the bottom end of the range. The fact that it opened to the middle of the range and then push lower at the open changed my view of it slightly, in thinking, okay, this could potentially be a bit of a flush. There's a lot of people who are long on Apple. It's had a good drive up. If you look at the daily, it's just been solid for days, months. So this is going to shake out a few. Now, what a better way to do that than to drive it lower at the open? Just take out those stops, and then there's the buying will come in. So that became my premise a little bit. But the key with this sort of trade is timing it. You're not going to be buying as it comes down, as you perhaps would do with the Dow, buying into the support. Really, there was a bit of support there at the 29, but you can see as soon as that broke, it just ploughed straight through. But at that point in time, it's still looking weak. There's no reason to get involved in it. But then the tape just changed, and again it comes back to this tape reading. The bids just step up. They're holding, they're moving up another 20 cents, they're moving up another 20 cents. This is an aggressively moving stock when there's news like this around. So you've got this issue where you've got bids holding, and as soon as I see that, I'm in. So my first entry was 327.92, then at 328.14, and then at 330 and 4. So 3 ads, literally just looking for this strength, and just seeing where it took me. I mean, the final target for me was going to be the top of this range. and we almost got there before we paused, and I just took it all out there. Just because it was a good run, it was a good run off the lows. It did run, and I was a bit early on that, and it pushed on another sort of $3. But was happy to have that just short of the top of the range. But really, if you can see where it was just, the line should have been there. Really, to be honest with you, if you look at all the price action around this sort of 11:45 in the morning level, and also here, there's only a couple of trades really that popped up about the 58. So the 334 was probably the better place to have it. So that was all out, all my complete exit there. Still watching Apple. I went long here on this pullback. It went against me quite a bit, about 150, about $1.50. Didn't like it. Came back and closed out for a 20-cent loss. So nothing really cool. That's a scratch pretty much on a day like today with Apple. So I was looking to buy that pullback. Just my timing was off on that. It looked like it was a tape buy there. You can see how the candles were just holding. It was at that 34 level. But really, as I say, line should have been there. Should have been looking for that little probe under and then the buy. But in actual fact, even if I had got that, the second push under to 33 would have probably got me out. So I'm going to watch Apple today, see how that finishes. It's got a long way to go if it wants to fill the gap, or they may change the sentiment completely. Some news may come out. Just trading this purely on price action. So let's move on to crude oil. If I can bring my chart in for you to see, hopefully you can. I don't know if that's showing up. Should be. Okay, crude oil. Yeah, bit of a choppy range before the open. Premise was if it breaks either side of that, I'm going to go with the flow on it. It looked like it was going to break to the upside, then it reversed, came down, and I took a short here. Got a dreadful fill on that. It must have been just a thin book. So it was a 50. It was like about 15 level. I was looking. I ended up getting a fill at 08 or something, and I closed that just as we poked through that 91. So nothing spectacular on there. The next trade for me was another short. Got away with this one okay, and it was literally, if you look at the 1 minute here, it's marked on the 3 minute, but it's a pullback to the bottom of this range. Just looked at it to poke over that 91 to the bottom of the range there at the 91.10. Get the short, and had to sit only a couple of minutes of just chopping around before it just broke lower. And then I covered that out. It was, I think I had a resting order at 85, but pulled up to 88. So yeah, an okay trade. It was okay. It worked out alright, but really the better trade, which is the one I missed, was looking for the break at the high of this range here, which is on this candle. Missed that, and that ran on quite nicely. Disappointing, but still in nicely in profit on crude. But just a point actually that I've got to be careful there. I mean, even though I've got that little bit, it's making life hard for yourself. But it was just on that pop over 91 for it to pull back under. I'm still on February, by the way, this month here. It's CLG 11. Even though it worked out okay, it just shows you if you don't get it, or if you've really got to pull your stop right up tight on that one. Otherwise, you could be sitting in this push here. This is interesting now. It's going to push up to that 91.80. Some good levels on crude. I'm looking at my whiteboard over here. I've got looking how it responds under 91 and above 92. So far we've still got more buyers at 91. So let's see if it can run on to 92, or if it's going to be happy chopping around there. So those are my crude oil trades. Let's go on to the euro. I've got to upload my video from last week first, but let's just go on to the euro. Excuse my layout, it's a bit of a mess. I've got this is the EC, this is the Euro Continuous Contract on the futures, not the cash. This dome here happens to be the actual Euro dollar spot, but I've got the futures next to it on just off the screen here. Yeah, here we go. Euro in the morning. There's a couple of trades for me in the morning. I'm not sure if I marked these on the chart. No, I didn't. They were only scalp trades though, so nothing spectacular in the way of setups. Okay, but coming to the afternoon, as that was it, right? I'm trying to remember the reasons why I took these trades now. Oh, here we go. There's the morning ones right up here. Sorry. Okay, yeah, this was basically just based on the bull flag near the highs. We had a lovely little push up, pulled back. It was bull flagging near that good key level there. and that line there was the cash of 134. So I'm really looking for it to push on there, and you can see there's a little bit of tape support there. You can see it in the chart, and it was evident on the day. Pushed up, and that was a quick scalp for me, and I haven't got the red arrow in there, but I know I closed it out just as we poked above that 134 spot price. With yeah, this is the futures price, and then I traded it again on the pullback. It's when especially when you spent all that time above a key level, it's digested a little bit, waiting for the pullback, looking to go long. And actually, this worked out okay, because it was a bit of a cycle, bit of a first oversold condition for a while after that good run. So like nice confluence of support there with the 134 and the pullback to oversold. Took that and then just closed it out as it approached that. Didn't go much further. Didn't get that nice peak, but just got it out as it approached this high here. So again, two nice little scalps coming in just after just before the open of the Dow. Again, this was the strength, and we were looking for this range to break, and the fact that it was just if I can bring the chart in, I'll just try and zoom this out slightly before we get back into business. Yeah, I'm just looking for the fact that this is like the range now that I've got here, that I had here. And there's a lot of bullishness about this. The ultimate target for this is 135, 134.50, because that was the high from 2 days ago, Friday, should I say? And don't forget, on Thursday and Wednesday last week we had that really stonking rally with the Friday pop that pulled back and just sort of held. Yesterday, obviously, bank holiday, a little drifted lower, but was immediately bought. So, you are expecting that sort of, you got a bullish bias on it. And yeah, that worked out okay. It just pushed up to that high, paused, pulled back. It was worth a shot. And actually, this arrow is in the wrong position. I actually took this a little bit earlier because I thought this here was a little pause. It happened to pull back, but it was holding at that key level, so I stayed with the trade. Stop wasn't that far away from under there, so if it had poked under, it would have probably stopped me out. Took the push up here, added to the position here because I'm still looking for that pop to 130, 135, which was pretty good for me. Pleased to get aggressive on this sort of trade. It's a great setup, when you've got that big range, scare a lot of people, hold. You've still got a nice magnet, which is the 134.50, and it just gave that extra little push, which is nice to squeeze an extra 15 ticks out of that. So great little trade, that all out there. I didn't get that last little pop. I just thought that was the pop over the 134.50, and it did just push on before going again, but never know. Never mind, should I say? And then of course, I always take these trades, the classic pullback to the breakout point. There was our key level. Pulled back to it. It just put a little tail in there, and then it was a nice buy. And just looking for a little pop up, just to break of that little trend line there. Let's just pop that in so we can see. Just looking for a little break of that. Just got the break of that. Stop was going to be nice and tight under it. Don't want this drifting all the way back down here. Separate trade completely. That it just popped up. Again, a little bit early on there. Should have waited for that spike there, really, because that was above that. That was my target again, the 50. Just that worked out exactly as I expected. I wasn't looking for a new high on that at all. I was looking for that pullback, the push back to the 134.50, the pause, and that worked nicely. So. That worked out well. Yeah, that's it. So that's it for the morning. Let's refocus our efforts. I'm going to see now. I'm just watching Apple, watching the Dow. Dow's pushing on now. Oil's bull flagging here at 91.50, the February contract, and Euro seems to have calmed down a little bit. Can't quite get above that 134.50. That's a double top if that carries on. Anyway, we're not talking about the market. Let's get back and I'll put the rest of the trades on the video in the afternoon. Good trading, guys.